is dependent on two factors. The first one is luck or brute luck, and the second one is the quality of our decisions. So the ability to make good decisions is one of the most important abilities that we can have, and AI can help here. And there are a couple of different ways how it can help. So if we think about it, it can tell us on the one side what happened, right? And why did it happen? Then we have what will happen and what should be done. And I'll give you an example. So I've been working quite a bit with the military in Germany. Here's an example, not for the German military, but how AI is basically now used in the Ukraine war to help to make better decisions. So what you're seeing here is a solution from
We start with a military operator, responsible for monitoring activity within Eastern Europe.
So the data they're using...
They've just received an alert that military equipment is amassed in a field 30 kilometers from
basically satellite data.
AIP leverages large language models to allow operators to quickly ask questions. Show me more details.
So here we have an alert.
They ask what enemy units are in the region and leverage AI to build out a likely unit formation.
So
what enemy military unit is in the region? Our operator requests additional imagery to build a more complete picture of the potential enemy equipment on the ground. Task new imagery for this location at a resolution of 1 meter or higher.
So now it automatically helps you to make the right decision to get better images.
AIP surfaces the option to deploy a nearby drone to collect video.
So
task the MQ-9 to capture video of this location.
And now you have a better understanding what is actually happening on the battlefield.
The footage confirms a potential threat. The drone footage shows an enemy T-80 main battle tank.
And now based on this information,
generate 3 courses of action to target this enemy equipment.
And here AI helps you to think
the about operator what uses AIP to generate 3 possible courses of action to target this enemy equipment. Next, they use AIP to
So, and just think about this as, I mean, a military application, but what we see quite often is if you're working in manufacturing, it helps us for the machinery to understand, well, there's something wrong with the machinery, what is wrong, what should be done next, and then even automatically sends a technician to the machine before it's breaking down, so he can kind of like look at the one part that's making a strange noise. The other thing that we have is reducing the cost of doing business. I mean, this is a classical thing. When I'm working with organizations, this is the key thing they often want, they're interested in. And we see this already with ChatGPT. We see kind of like what have been the effects of ChatGPT. And you see there has been a control group, so a group which are not allowed to use ChatGPT for a specific task. And then a treatment group, so they were allowed to use ChatGPT. And you see how actually the time decreased for a certain task, and how at the same time the quality of doing the task increased. And if you think about it, I'm speaking to people that report they're having productivity effects of up to 50–60%, depending on what you're doing. How big this effect could be if your whole basically frontline or your whole employees would be able to use ChatGPT and know how to use it correctly, what productivity effects you can have. My first kind of like stint in kind of like my career was working for an AI startup in radiology. So what we're doing here, we're analyzing CT scans, basically being able to detect where there are anomalies in the CT scans. And by doing so, we worked with radiologists, and they were much faster because they could already see where there's something, and they made much less mistakes. So this is just kind of like 2 examples how AI helps to reduce the cost of doing business. Then we have personalization. I mean, we probably know personalization. I think there's one company when I talk about artificial intelligence, is probably one of the best examples, and this company is Netflix. So you know probably each Netflix account looks very different, but what very few people know is something they figured out, that basically also all these images that we have for watching a TV show look different. And they figured out, okay, basically the image that you see is one of the most important things for you to decide if you want to watch the movie. And for them it's very important that you don't need more than kind of like 10 minutes to find the movie that you want to watch. So they're using AI to pick for you the best image that you can use, right? So they have kind of like, they also use AI to generate a couple of potential images that would fit. And then depending on your viewing history, so if you would have been someone that liked to watch rom-coms, then the movie of God Will Hunting is a couple kissing, and if you're someone who likes more comedies, then the person you will see as a thumbnail would be a comedian. Or if you're a fan of Uma Thurman, then Pulp Fiction has Uma Thurman. If you're a fan of John Travolta, what you will see by looking at Pulp Fiction is actually John Travolta. And then the last thing is how to capture and create new value. So you can do now things that you couldn't do before. I brought with you kind of like an example. So first of all, it looks at two things. So thinking about how you can use AI to improve existing products that you have. And I see this quite often that people now use in order to improve the service or the product. They integrate a chatbot in their offerings. Or you can build completely new things that you couldn't do before. And I brought with you an example. So my mom, I gave her this year for Christmas kind of like a birdhouse with a camera. And normally what they do is kind of like when the bird flies in, it detects the bird and it takes just a video and it sends to your picture. And now they have a new version where they use AI to also detect which bird it is. And this is basically how it looks. Right, so now you can detect it. And for this, they can make it more attractive and they charge a bigger price. So I see it quite often now with all my friends, they're getting children and all of them, they have these baby phones with AI. They can basically detect how your baby is sleeping. And everyone is buying these kind of like these AI toys or these AI things because there is some added value. And you have to think, okay, where it actually makes sense to add value, because I've seen now toothbrushes using AI and I'm not sure what is the value of my toothbrush having artificial intelligence. So, and often if you